Good morning, esteemed participants and distinguished guests. On behalf of the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board, I am the Secretary to the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. Would like to welcome you for today's insightful webinar on Union Budget Commitment towards Sustainable Development. The Union Budget serves as a critical blueprint for our nation's economic direction, and today we delve into its implications for sustainable development. As we navigate through the allocations and policies outlined, we aim to uncover how these measures align with our collective goal of fostering environmental stewardship, social equity, and economic resilience. Throughout this session, we will explore the budget's impact on various sectors, discuss opportunities for integrating sustainability into corporate strategies, and reflect on the pivotal role of financial policy in advancing our journey towards a sustainable future. Good morning, everyone. Now we would like to request CA Nishant Agrawalji, Ghaziabad branch of CIRC of ICI, to introduce our today's speaker, CA Dr. Dheeraj Sharma ji. Welcome, sir. Nishant, sir, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. So, CA Dheeraj Sharma ji, who is also a doctor, is a distinguished chartered accountant and an academician with a PhD in HR practices for sustainable development. An active contributor to the field, he has delivered over 500 sessions and published more than 20 research papers. He has served as chairman of the Gurugram branch of NIRC of ICAI and is a special invitee member of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee of ICAI. His expertise spans financial accounting, business models, and sustainable development.
Welcome you, sir. Over to you, Dheeraj, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. So I believe we should start, and Anusar will join us in the meantime, and it will be great for us. Once he will join, we will everybody learn a lot from himself as well, right? So, okay, thank you so much, C. Nishant Agrawal ji, for such a generous introduction, and my warm greetings to C. Shweta Goel ji and her entire team of Sustainability Reporting Standards Board. That these people are putting all their best possible efforts to ensure that every member sitting in the different corners of the world, they must be able to discuss some key topics, and they must be able to touch upon contemporary issues related to sustainability, environmental, social governance related part, different reporting, and many more things. Like recently, they had a session on climate risk and regulatory landscape regarding to climate risk, right? So I would like to congratulate you and thank you for all the efforts you are making. Also, we have with us Advocate Kashyap Bansalji, who is today's webinar enabler. Greetings to you. And in absentia of chairperson of the board, CA Ketripriya ji, and vice chairman of the board, CA Dr. Anuj Goyal ji, and all the participants who joined us, because you are the people who are the key of any program. Because in the maximum number, the participants join us, they put their questions before us, and we love to discuss with them. So it's a two-way process. Their active participation, that is inspiration for the board, and that is a learning opportunity for the speaker as well. I believe nobody is complete, nobody is perfect in the entire world. So whenever somebody asks a question, I always try to learn from himself. So it's really great opportunity for me to as well to learn something from today's participants. I request participants, please be active, put a maximum number of questions, and at the same time, please keep your diary and a notepad in your hand so you can note down something. Even you feel that you would like to discuss some queries, some questions after the session, then also feel free to write me or write to the SRSB officially. So let me start with my presentation. Let me share the presentation, right? Just a moment. I believe it's visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So first thing, my very general, very initial question to all the participants: what do you think about sustainable development? There is no need to give the answer because you are in the webinar mode, and I believe you are unable to unmute yourself and revert one by one. But just note down your own observation, your own key findings about the sustainable development. And then at the same time, what are the part of sustainable development? And then at the same time, the real time examples, the real life examples from our surroundings. We are not talking about a regulatory part as of now. From your surroundings, from your day to day life, at your workplace, at your home, at the place where you are commuting, everywhere. What are some examples where the commitment towards sustainable development is shown by the person? It may be you, it may be your colleagues, your family members, your friends, or any service provider. And then thereafter, it may be the government in the form of regulatory landscape. So note down all these things. You can note down in your mind or you can note down in the diary because it will be helpful for all of us to understand all the concepts in a simple and easiest manner. One more thing, when the topic was decided, at that time I was thinking about the session, entire session will be near around on the Union Budget 2024 and the provisions related to sustainable development, renewable energy, and all other parts, SDGs, ESGs, and all these things. But when I went through with the key topics which are to be covered in this session, received in the email from SRSB, so I thought that little bit focus on definition, concept, importance, regulatory landscape, and the journey of sustainable reporting, sustainable development, ESG framework. So some light is also to be thrown on these topics. And besides focusing on budget proposals separately, I will try to cover those proposals simultaneously. Like at the time when we will be discussing any particular reporting, the same time we will discuss about the proposal regarding the taxonomy for climate, which was introduced in the recent budget by our Honorable Finance Minister. So all these things we will be discussing at the same time. There was one commitment which our Honorable Prime Minister he has shown in the COP26. In the Glasgow, he was in the United Nations Climate Change Conference in the UK. He was addressing at that time, and he gave one very simple or very easy example, or we can say very easy mantra for everybody. And the mantra given by Honorable Prime Minister, sir, it was LIFE. That means life for environment. That the one single mantra, it was given for the entire world, and everybody in his day-to-day life, they can inculcate some responsibilities, some fair practices, some best practices, some commitments which may lead towards the environmental safety. That means everybody's commitment, everybody's lifestyle change towards the environment. This fundamental commitment or fundamental mantra was given by our Honorable Prime Minister, sir. Now talking about government's commitment, because when we discuss about regulatory framework, because in India, though I should not comment on this, but in practical, what happens to us, unless anything is mandatory, we are taking it in a lighter note. But once a thing is mandatory, it may be any reporting, it may be any compliance, it may be any regulatory requirement like CSR or anything. So once it's mandatory, once it is regularized in the form of law or regulation, then we people are very much serious about it. So first we should understand what kind of commitment our government of India is showing towards sustainable development and ESGs. So in the meeting in the COP26, which was addressed by our Prime Minister, sir, he gave a mantra, and that was mentioned as Panchamrit. The Panchamrit was mainly focused on environment. They focused on the reduction in the fossil fuel. They focused in the increase in the renewable energy sources. They focused on the increase of non-fossil fuel sources. They focused on reducing the carbon footprint, carbon emissions. They focused to achieve the net zero target by 2070. They, more or less, these Panchamrit are focused on the sources of energy which are generating through the renewable sources of energy or which are from the non-fossil fuel energy and the reduction of the carbon emission. So these kind of commitments in the form of Panchamrit, it was shown by our government. And a few things which are also part of life, the life for environment, the mantra given by Prime Minister Modi ji, and it was accepted by the entire world, all the countries which were part of that climate conference. So all the countries have accepted this mantra and they appreciated that India has given this mantra to them. So it is focused on the first part is all about energy saving. So what government can do in the energy saving sector? The government can explore some renewable energy sources. Government can uh, take some mitigation measurements. So we can say like electricity department should implement such a precautionary measurement to stop the leakage of the energy, or we can say the misuse of the energy, misuse of the electricity everywhere. But at the same time, can we do something? Yes, if there is no need of the light in the room, I can switch off the light. If the temperature is fine, so there is no need to keep my air conditioner at 16 and now I am using blanket. I may keep the temperature of my air conditioner at 27 and I can save the energy at that time. There are many such examples. That means energy saving is the commitment of government, but lifestyle for environment, that means I can also contribute in this form. Another one is water saving. Again, we always discuss government should develop some dams and uh, proper irrigation system, integration of canals, integration of rivers, and very big we can say proposals or very big themes were addressed by our government as well, like from the Jal Shakti Mantralaya and irrigation department and many more. But at the same time, we can also contribute in this. We can save the water. There are many examples. I don't think that I should quote every example there, but we can contribute in the water saving as well. Now, another thing which is part of life, that is reduction of single-use plastic. I have a plastic bottle, water bottle. I just use it, 200 ml, and then I have thrown the plastic bottle. This is the biggest harm to our environment. And if I have a commitment that I will have a glass bottle or I will have a reusable bottle, I will have a metal bottle for water in my office, so I can avoid the single-use plastic for the purpose of water. There are many more examples, even in the toy segment. Even we all are joined today to either mobile phones or our laptop. That means electronic gadgets. There are certain rules in the form of EPR, extended producer's responsibility, and the producers of these gadgets is required to comply with those rules. That means the safe and non-hazardous form of the final discarding, or we can say the uh, last use or discarding or scattering, all such kind of the stage. Because once my laptop is unusable for me, it's best for me, I will throw it or I will sell it out for 500 rupees or 1000 rupees just as a waste. Kabadi wala will come to me, the person will collect such laptops, but the responsibility of the manufacturer of this laptop, that is, he should ensure that a certain percentage of the laptops produced by their company are purchased back by them, tried for reuse if possible. Not possible, then recycled. If not possible, then discarded in such a manner that is ensuring the minimum harm to the environment. Minimum harm to the environment. Then the other thing is adoption of sustainable food system. Yes, though the not only our government, UN is also very much serious about a continuous food supply and sustainable food supply. Even our government of India raising a campaign for Mota Anaj, right? They are just promoting it. Please prefer Mota Anaj. That is their slogan and that is their campaign. Mota Anaj, use of the Mota Anaj. So that means they are focusing on sustainable supply of the food with minimum, like in this also one thing, the sustainable agriculture system is also part of this. Lesser use, minimize use of pesticides, minimize use of chemicals, minimize use of all other things which may be harmful for our environment. So these things are also focused under this target. Now waste reduction, yes, again we always focus on triple R concept. It's not triple R movie. Triple R concept is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So waste reduction is also part of this, and then healthy lifestyle. What do you mean by healthy lifestyle? Good daily routine, mental peace, physical health, and the lifestyle which is not only peaceful but also which is prosperous, and all at the same time which is also non-hazardous, non-harmful to our environment as unharmful for our environment as well. Uh, at various airports, or we can see in some malls as well, multiplex as well, we see such kind of questions there. Just read out one by one. We see such kind of questions, such kind of things, or these are mentioned over there either in airports, or at airports, or maybe at multiplex, or even in some corporate offices as well. That means they are focusing on that reduction of CO2. They are focusing on non-use of single-use plastic. They are focusing on using the eco-friendly products. They are focusing on cleanliness and the environmental safety at that time. They are focusing on non-use of hazardous chemicals at that time. So they are focusing on fulfilling the standards, fulfilling the commitments, and ensuring the environmental safety at that time. So this is nowadays it's common to see. But can we try to implement all these things that are on? I'm an owner of a very small organization. There are 50 to 60 people working under me. So can I implement all these things? Let's suppose I am a practicing chartered accountant. So I am not a practicing chartered accountant, but let's suppose I am a practicing chartered accountant, and at the same time, some chartered accountants articles are working under me. Let's suppose the number is 10 or 11. Can I implement such things in my office? At the other part, let's suppose I am a proprietor and there are two people working under me. We are total three people in our entire firm. Can we implement such things at our office? And at the end, at my own level, in my family, at my home, can I implement such things? This is an example only. We have to show our commitment. We have to ensure that we are also putting our efforts. We are also contributing towards such goals, towards the sustainable development. Moving ahead, now coming on the concept part. What do you mean by ESG? Environment, social, and governance. Okay, let me ask one thing. If an entity, there are some policies framed for the reduction of the fraud. There are some policies framed in the terms of whistleblower policy. There are certain policies regarding gender equality, women empowerment, certain policies regarding grievance redressal system. Is this also part of sustainable development? Is this also part of ESG? Am I right or wrong? Ask this question to yourself and you will find, yes, more or less these policies which are part of good governance, those efforts, those commitments, those actions which may be part of the good governance, which may be part of good internal control framework, which may be the part of safeguarding the stakeholders' interest within the limitations of applicable rules and regulations. All these are part of the governance, and the governance is part of ESG framework, environment, sustainable, and environment, social, and governance. So these policies, these actions, these commitments, these activities, these are also part of governance, and these are part of ESG. So if any chartered accountant which is not working in the environmental sector, working on and having specialization in internal control, you may think I am working in internal control framework. I don't think ESG is related to me. No, ESG, even you are part of ESG, your workings are part of ESG framework. So in environmental sector, mainly it is focused on reducing the pollution, reducing the energy use, sourcing the energy from renewable sources, also reducing the carbon emission and all these things, and an organization's commitment towards environmental safety, environmental performance. On the another part, when we see about social part, at the social part, it is more focused on social equity. It is more focused on stakeholders, different marginal stakeholders' interest. It is more focused on the benefit to the community at the large. That is part of your social part. And then governance, we have already discussed about governance part. If we break up, if we just list out a few things, a few examples which are covered under three elements of ESG. So when we talk about environmental part, in the environmental part, the first one is climate change. Yes, this is part of this. Recently, SRSP had session on climate change as well. In the climate change part, generally, it is at the public domain. The news is the Mumbai is sinking by a few centimeters every year. I welcome Chairman sir. It's really indeed an honor for all
Thank
of
you
us.
very much. Thank you very
And
much. Thank you.
our Chairman sir, Sir Dr. Anuj Goyalji, Vice Chairman of the board, Sir Dr. Anuj Goyalji has also joined us. And welcome sir. Uh, I
Thank
think
you very much.
sir is traveling, so we would love to hear from him in the middle of the session. I request Nishanti, can you please proceed further, Nishanti? Nishanti and Kashyap ji, please.
I think Kashyap ji will be introducing Anuj ji.
Okay. Please introduce sir, and we will hear from sir.
CA Dr. Anuj Goyal sir. CA Dr. Anuj Goyal sir is a Central Council member of ICI and Vice Chairman of the Sustainability Reporting Standards Board. He also serves as Chairman of Ethical Standard Board, the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, and the Publications and CDS Directorate. He has also served as Chairman of Ghaziabad chapter of ICI, ICSI, and ICMA. With an extraordinary tenure of 17 years in Central Council, 3 years in Regional Council, and 6 years in branch, including Chairman of CIRC and various ICI Central Committees, members of the Editorial Board, and more. He has made significant contributions to the profession. With vast experience exceeding 30 years and a wealth of knowledge, he contributes in the field of research and development have always been remarkable. He is a well-known speaker on various topics and also serves as a visiting faculty member at various institutions. Additionally, he has worked as editor-in-chief and editor of various publications of professional interest. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Anuj sir. Over to you, Anuj.
Yeah, thank you, Kashyap Bansalji. I'm really very happy that we are having this very, very important webinar today. And we are having the best of the resource person who is working day in, day out for the cause of the sustainability. He is, of course, the BRSR past a very, very prominent chartered accountant, doctorate, and is a great educationist and a motivator. And friends, I am really very happy to share with you that in Sustainability Reporting Standard Board, in a very, very short span of time during this monsoon, we are going to plant 1 lakh trees. And under the convenership of Dheeraj Sharma ji, we have started daily yoga session from 7 to 8, 7:45 a.m. in the morning in the Professional Skill Management Committee. So I'm really very happy that Dr. Dheeraj Sharma is contributing like anything. We are having our event enablers, C. Nishant Agrawal ji, Kashyap Bansal sir, and all the respected prominent officials from the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. Very, very strong team we are having in the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board, and from each and every part of the country, outside country, we are having thousands of viewers. So I'm really very happy that we are going to discuss what is there in the finance bill, which is going to be acted today, Dheeraj ji, in all probabilities.
Already passed.
It has been passed by passed by Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha also. So now it has become act, and whatever Dheeraj ji is discussing, he is discussing the various provisions which have been brought by this Finance Act 24-25. And friends, a lot has been proposed by the government towards sustainable development, and how the chartered accountants, how the professionals who are having the expertise in the BRSR, how the professionals who are having expertise in sustainability can really understand and in turn can contribute for the cause of the society and in turn for the cause of the nation. I think it is very important, and we are very well aware that government is trying its level best to balance economic growth with environmental and social responsibility. And today's webinar is very crucial because it helps us understand how this Finance Act supports sustainable development, and we will see how new policies and funding can drive green projects and social initiatives, which are key for aligning our business strategies with the national sustainability goals. And this insight will help us adapt and make informed decisions in our efforts towards a more sustainable future. And together, we can have this earth, our mother nature, a more sustainable, better place to live for our future generations. And our members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India are having very crucial role in this endeavor. And I am quite confident that Dr. Dhiraj Sharma ji will certainly respond the queries raised by our honorable members who are there from each and every part of the world. I will not be taking further time as we are very eager to hear CA Dr. Dhiraj Sharma ji. I once again welcome our very prominent event enablers, our young chap, CA Nishant Agrawal ji, who is in a great way doing wonders in the capital market, and Kashyap Bansal ji, who is trying to see that how we can really do something very concrete in the hospitality business also, taking care of the nature, nurturing nature, and can do something very concrete in hospitality. So once again, I welcome all our honorable delegates from each and every part of world, and I'm really grateful to Sweta Goel ji and her entire team. Our very prominent chartered accountants are there, and our sustainability experts in G is also there, and they are trying their level best to see that how we can really do something very concrete for the members of ICI who can get the expertise so that we can really do something very concrete for the business, trade and industry, and in turn for the cause of the society and nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening address. Your deep wisdom and unwavering dedication has provided us an essential direction. Your exemplary leadership inspires us all, and we are truly fortunate to have you at the helm. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your keynote address. Thank you, sir. Over to Dhiraj, sir.
Thank you. Really very much thankful to Anuj sir, and I myself feel that I am inspired from his energy. Today we both are on a virtual platform for the second time. In the morning he was in the yoga session, and I think Anuj sir is in Sitamarhi. He is having conference there. Then also he joined us in this program, and after this program also he is having his commitment. So a person from the early morning to the late night, he has the commitment, he has the very hectic schedule, but he never bypasses commitment. Really a man of his word, a person of his commitment. I believe that it's a fortune, good luck. I must say it's a fortune for all of us that we have such a dedicated person with us, and not only dedicated person, very intelligent person as well. In every committee, at every board, every responsibility which ICI has entrusted on himself, be it in the recently as a chairman of research committee, or in the current term as a chairman of ESP, or vice chairman of SRSP, or chairman of PSEC, vice chairman of TAQB. Everywhere he is putting his effort and tireless efforts. Really, sir, hats off to you. It's indeed an honor for me that I am addressing this session with you. Thank you so much, sir, for all your good words and hard work. Thank you, sir. So we were discussing about key elements of ESG. Before that little bit part that Anuj sir has set some tone for the budget proposals also. So I must say that union budget is not only budget for this financial year. This is not a document for a year. As mentioned by sir, that government has shown their commitment towards the Viksit Bharat. The budget is for next 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, or even up to for the period of 2047. The budget is for the 100 years of India's independence. So in this budget, the government of India is committed towards shown their commitment towards the sustainable development. Like they have planned for such some economic plans in such a manner to develop and transform the India where the environment is also safeguarded, where we are also targeting towards the net zero by 2070, where they have focused on the green energy sources, where they have focused on the energy to everywhere. It may be through the solar energy, it may be through the pumped power, it may be through the some thermal power as well. Though thermal power is not part of environmental sustainability, but for the time being, it may be through the thermal power as well. And they are exploring renewable energies. At the same time, the government of India in this budget, it was highlighted towards taxonomy for the climate finance as well. And one question which I would like to ask everybody, all the participants, that we usually discuss about renewable energy targets, right? What is the rank of India in the entire world in terms of renewable energy installation? Because we are a developing country, how we will compete with USA, UK, China, or any other country which have already lot of sources? But you would be glad to know that India rank 3 in the entire world in the sector of renewable energy installation. That shows how fast the government is acting, the government is working to ensure that the energy sources are fossil sources, and these are from the renewable energy sources. Even we have set an ambitious target of achieving 450 gigawatt of the renewable energy capacity by 2030. 450 gigawatt capacity. That's really huge. But we have set this target, and I believe with the collective efforts of not only government but also institutions, but also the organization, and but also we all as an individual, we will achieve this target. And today we are ranking at number 3, and surely we will be at rank 1 at a global level in the terms of renewable energy sources installation. Now, let me share my presentation once again. And in the meantime, we everybody must think about our own contribution, be it in terms of environment, be it in terms of social commitment, like CSR. Again, you will be glad to know, among all the countries in the entire world, the India is the first country which implemented the concept of mandatory CSR in the year 2013, in the form as a result of New Companies Act 2013, and it became effective from the year of 2014, the provision of CSR. India is the first country in the entire world that has shown their commitment for this. So social part is also that most of the CSR activities are part of a social part of ESG, and then talking about governance part in the companies. So very quickly, in environmental part, the element climate change, yes, we have to think about it. We have to show our commitment about it. Then greenhouse emissions, then energy efficiency. The budget 2024 has keenly highlighted, shown some insight on the commitment towards the energy efficiency. And I already mentioned that we have an ambitious target of 450 gigawatts to be achieved by year 2030. Then biodiversity and conservation. Nowadays, the forests are shrinking, and at the same, also the water bodies are also shrinking. At the same time, we have to see that the impact on the biodiversity in the forest, the biodiversity in the water bodies. So this is part of ESG, and our government, even in the budget 2024, has also highlighted on the conversation of biodiversity. On WhatsApp or Facebook, we usually see some pictures of expressway or highway where a separate lane for wildlife has been made. That means if there is a tiger, there is another wild animal that can use that passage. That means government has built some roads through the jungle, through the forest, but they have separate passes for the wildlife as well. So this is commitment towards the conservation of the biodiversity. Then renewable fuels, yes, renewable energy, then waste management, recycling, and raw material sourcing. The intelligent sourcing of raw material is again very much important. We discussed about reduce, reuse, recycle, but intelligent sourcing of raw material. How? If my raw material is hazardous to the environment, that have hazardous chemicals. If my raw material is not good for the environment, not good for we people, then ultimate product is also going to be harmful for our environment and for us as well. Let me give an example. While purchasing toys for our children, what we see, whether even though the toys are plastic toys, but what we see, it's smelling. That may be a lower grade plastic. It's not good. The plastic is not good. That means it may be hazardous for my children. If chemicals are used, these chemicals may be hazardous for harmful for my children. That means at the time of sourcing of final product, we people are looking at this. So the manufacturer should focus at the time of sourcing of the raw material as well. Now talking about special elements, human rights. Everybody knows this is the part of a civilized society and it's mandatory, it's compulsory. Health and safety for everybody. Even in this budget as well, some proposal, some budget has been allocated for the good medical facilities and for promotion of Ayush as well. One new domain, I don't say new domain, but one key domain which has been highlighted post COVID very much. And then also we have to focus about the chemical safety. We have to focus about the good working condition, good governance at the workplace, gender equality, and stakeholders' interest. We have to ensure about the diversity also. Infosys is a great example of diversity inclusion. Whenever you do a study of Infosys BRSR or Infosys ESG report, even Infosys director's report, at the end you will find that Infosys is one of the greatest company in India as of now in terms of diversity, gender equality, and diversity. Whenever you have time, please go through with the director's report and CSR report, ESG reports, or BRSR, CRR, what kind of information is available in terms of Infosys for recent years, not only for the current year, for the recent years, you will find their commitment towards the diversity. One more thing, privacy and data security is also part of special element. So this is part of governance as well. I have shared my data somewhere. This is the responsibility of the data holder that my data should be kept in the safe form. The integrity of my data is to be ensured. The confidentiality of my data is to be ensured. Else, there are certain penalties on the person who is holding the data. There are certain penalties. Now talking about governance part, first of all, what we think, we usually have a myth, a misconception that the ESG or sustainability, all these things are part of the board of directors. No, the tone is set at the top. We usually talk that tone at the top, but it doesn't mean this is limited to the board of directors, limited to the C-suite person, KMPs. Yes, from top to the bottom, everybody has to ensure their contribution. Even everybody has to be the part of sustainability, has to be the part of these kind of activities. Mainly in governance, we have already discussed. So controls are part of governance, and this is also part. This also becomes the part of ESG. Now, anti-competitive behavior. It doesn't mean that we are focusing on the non-competitive behavior, but anti-competitive behavior, some good regulatory compliances, gender equality, anti-corruption, whistleblower policy, engagement of the stakeholders, even marginal stakeholders engagement, that is also should be included there. There should be some ethical standards, like in ICI we have code of conduct for our members, be it a member in practice or it is member in industry or member engaged other than the practice. So we have some ethics. So these ethical standards are also part of governance part. Pay for performance, that means right payment, good payment. One thing, how the evolution of sustainability has happened. So before discussing the evolution of sustainability landscape in India, first let us understand how the time is changing. Focus on the screen. When radio was launched, everybody was very much excited. We can ask our elders, our parents, what happened at that time. Everyone was very much excited. Even people had to purchase the license for the radio. Without license, you cannot use the radio. The frequencies were not allowed. Even at the time of Indo-Pak War, 1971, that was the independence movement for Bangladesh. At that time also, some people were booked by the authorities which were not having license for the radio, and they matched their frequency with Pakistan. Those people were booked. This is recorded data of Government of India. That means there was the concept of license, there was the concept of approval for the radio. Now radio is part of our phone, FM, everywhere, right? So when radio was launched, it took 38 years to reach the 50 million listeners. Total 38 years to reach the 50 million listeners. That means it took too long journey. But when the television was launched, you know, when the television was launched, it took 38 years or not? No. Whether it took just half of the 38 years, 19 years or not? No. Almost one third of the period taken by the radio. That means within 13 years, it reached to the 50 million viewers. Time has changed. And now, when internet was launched, it took only 5 years to reach the 50 million users. That means how fast the time is changing. And with this fast changing time, fast changing environmental process, fast changing industrial environment, fast changing regulatory landscape, fast changing global environment, global commitment, or we can say the global business environment, we have to ensure that we are also changing. We are also upgrading ourselves. That is why even with the people who joined today's program just for basic knowledge and who are not exploring opportunities in the ESG segment or opportunities in the sustainable reporting segment, those should also focus on this. Okay, now, why the ESG is important? What is the importance in this? Though our budget shows it's really important for everybody. Our budget has already shown the commitment towards its importance. But there are certain benefits of ESG. You know what? Recently, CII, Confederation of Indian Industries, has conducted a survey, and they published a report that the companies which has robust ESG system, they have more profitability. They have increased their financial stability. They have increased their market valuation, not profitability, their market valuation as a result of their reputation enhancement. So it was found that the company is having robust ESG system, robust sustainability reporting system, or robust commitment, good commitment towards sustainable development. Those companies have noted 3 to 4% jump in their market valuation. That means that reputational gain they have made. So when we talk about corporate reputation, obviously be it customer or investors. We usually give example of Tata. Tata Steel's Green Steel Initiative. We see about it. We hear about it. Once I got the name of Tata, everybody is very much sure, yes, that is ethical business, so and so. We have also heard about a CAF program by Starbucks. CAF program, which it was launched by Starbucks, that includes the stakeholder engagement. And who are the stakeholders for in the CAF program? The coffee producers and farmers. That means the Starbucks listens to their marginal coffee producer and farmers as well. Take care of those as well. And globally, Starbucks every year publish their report for the CAF program. So whenever such initiatives, Hindustan Unilever has also taken some initiatives, Patanjali also taken some initiatives. There are many more such companies like Infosys and others, Reliance, they have taken such initiatives. So when any company takes such initiative towards sustainable development, ultimately they gain their reputational gain. Another benefit is risk reduction. How? How ESG or sustainable development or how these things can help an organization in terms of risk reduction. Think about it. Just think about it. 10 to 20 seconds. Think about it. Sir, we have already discussed that internal controls are part of governance, and that particular governance is part of ESG. And ESG is ultimately in different form. No, though ESG and sustainability are not 100% same, but ultimately this is also moving towards the sustainability only. That means if there are good controls, good governance is there, your risk reduction will be there automatically. Then it offers some opportunities as well. Like in my entity, in my organization, there are certain people who are working there. There may be possibility that one person is working in same environment, same thing, in the same profile, even his JD has not been changed for a long period. So there may be rigidity in that person. But when I implement good governance, when I implement good practices, when I implement good social practices, then obviously I will come out of this situation and I will see there is resilience from my employee. That I will see that as a result of my social commitments, my employees are now more committed to the entity. They are feeling more safer in the entity. Generally, it happens. The Birla Group, they take care of their employees too much. So employees are awarded for the long service award, 20 years, 30 years. I do remember almost 15 years ago, I went to DCM, and again DCM is an example of of offering long service award. In the current time, when in every 2 to 3 years the employees are updating their CV resumes and applying for the job change for the hike, DCM or Bidlas, they are having the employees who joined their company at the age of 21 or 22 and then got retired at the age of 60 years. Even they took extension for the 5 years. So such long services because of better working conditions, good working conditions. That is also part of your ESG. And then cultural and intrinsic value enhancement. That is also a benefit which we get from effective implementation of ESG. Again, let us take an example of these three companies. The first one is Kodak. The company was having a legacy of more than 100 years, a great legacy. The company was pioneer, or we can say the company was the one and only major player in their business segment. They were the manufacturer of cameras. They were the manufacturer of camera reels. Now what happened? The digital camera replaced this company. The company went to bankruptcy. Think about it, a company having legacy of more than 100 years, and ultimately one day, all of a sudden, the company had to declare that we are filing form for bankruptcy. It was really very much painful day for all the people who were working with that company, just because of they didn't change themselves with the time. Another example from Indian perspective, Tata Nano. It was good car, budget friendly car, everything was good, but what happened? Sir, it was a reputational risk with Tata Nano because Garib ki car. It was promoted as Garib ki Gadi. That is why Tata Nano faced the reputational risk. Another one is Kingfisher. Again, there were certain issues with the Kingfisher, and these were financial indiscipline. Because of that, the company suffered losses due to financial indiscipline. That means changing landscape. That means reputational risk and the financial indiscipline related risk. All these three are very much serious for the businesses. Even these may result the consequences of all these three risks may be a big result in terms of losing their business, in terms of filing the application for bankruptcy, in terms of winding up their business. And these risks are covered, already been covered, if an effective plan for ESG implementation, sustainability development, good governance, good social commitment, reputation management, all these things have been implemented in an organization. That is the importance of ESG, that is the importance of sustainability. Okay, now talking about different factors, and now at the broad level, it has been divided into three parts. First one is environmental, the another one is social part, and the third one is governance part. So when we talk about environmental part, it is again divided. There is no certain thumb rule that it should be divided in the 4 points only. Just my own understanding. This may be the understanding of some of you as well. Some may add some more points also. They may bifurcate it more elaborate it. But mainly the climate change. Yes, if there is climate change, so what I should do? I should relocate. No, I should contribute. I should ensure that I am not part of those factors due to which the negative climate change is going to happen. I am contributing towards the better environment. After climate change, another one is safeguarding the natural resources. I should not dig out and use the natural resources in such a manner that those will not be available for the next generation. We think that I should leave many properties, leave some shares, leave some investments for my son, for my daughter, in the legacy in my will. The important thing that is, I must ensure that in a legacy or in a will, I am leaving good environment for my children. I am leaving sufficient natural resources for my children. So that is our own commitment towards safeguarding the natural resources. Then the pollution. Pollution is harmful in the two ways. First, harmful for our health. Another, that is harming our natural resources as well. And the third one, the pollution is the cause of the climate change also. In Delhi, NCR, after Diwali or in the winter season, usually every year, we see the huge fog or we can see the pollution at the peak level. The particulate matters are at the peak level. So government announces some precautionary measurements, right? Like any BS4 car, any car having the gradation earlier to the BS4, it will not be allowed to drive in Delhi NCR for the period of 2 to 3 months. Construction activities will be stopped, and many more such instructions are provided by the government. Even once in a while, even our system was also implemented at that time. That was also part to reduce the pollution, to implement some mitigation strategies for the pollution reduction. So pollution is impacting everything, and then it is impacting climate, impacting natural resources, impacting our life, and also it is reducing our environmental opportunities also. We have to explore such businesses. We have to think about such businesses which are eco-friendly, like eco-friendly plates. People are working on this eco-friendly building, eco-friendly energy sources, water harvesting systems in multi, multi, multi-story societies, and we can say the solar lights in multiplexes or multi-story societies, or in a big or large size residential projects. So that means that kind of practices are to be implemented. Now on the social part, companies' commitment, companies' contribution towards the fairness in the society for the community, their contribution towards the community. So first, human capital, that is internal and external both. Internal means my employees, I should take care of their health, I should take care of their well-being, I should take care of their good working environment, all these things, and outside as well, human capital. That means I should invest some amount in the skill enhancement. I should invest some amount in the educational development of the students nearby to my factory premises. Then the product liability, that means good sourcing, intelligent sourcing, responsible investment should be there. Then stakeholders part. At certain points, we see one stakeholder is having interest in particular design, another stakeholder is not interested in that. Let me give you an example. I am setting up a new plant for my company. So I need to acquire more space, 100 acres. I need to acquire more space. So I will acquire that space from the people who are residing near there. They have to sell their amount, their piece of land to me, right? No doubt, I will compensate them. But at the same time, it should be my duty, my responsibility that a proper rehabilitation plan, resettlement plan for them is to be implemented. Okay. Then thereafter, some social opportunities are also there. Okay, coming on the governance part, we have already discussed governance part or ESG is not only the part of the board, not only the part of C-suite. Yes, they set the tone at the top and it approaches to the bottom. Top to bottom approach has been followed in this. So first, independence should be there, governance should be there. Another thing is ethical behavior should be there, ethical standards should be there, ethical practices should be there. Okay, now the how the sustainability is transforming the corporate landscape. Very briefly, we will discuss about very brief. Right. First thing, we think that this is part of C-suite. That means CEO, CFO, CTO, all other KMPs. No, this is not limited to them. Another one, climate change. Also, we have briefed about it. Climate change. Though climate change is really a concern of very, very serious concern. It's really a concern of seriousness when everybody should focus. This is not only the matter of discussion between the government. I should also think about it for the safety of my family. You should also think about it. So it is collective responsibility of all of us. Then some more things which are getting part of sustainability at the corporate level. That may be like some compliances. That may be like fair use of the finance. So nowadays there is a concept of climate finance is also there. The recently, I believe at the end of February month or in the starting of the March month, RBI has announced RBI has announced some regulatory landscape for the NBFCs and bankers as well, that they have to comply about it. And in that, governance part is also there, environmental part is also there, their commitment part is also there. So that reporting will be commenced very soon, and you will see that the NBFCs or small bankers which are not falling under the mandatory provisions of BRSR, they are also reporting a similar kind of BRSR report to the RBI as per the RBI notification. It was a written notification by RBI, and very soon you will see the NBFCs are reporting that. Improvement in reporting standards. There are GRI standards, there are NGRBC, National Guidelines on Responsible Business Conduct. There are certain formats of BRSR. There are certain guidelines towards the director's report, where they have to mention about CSR activities, they have to mention about their other commitments and all these things. So such reporting standards, they are also marking some impact on corporate. It may be in terms of financial, it may be in terms of non-financial impact, but yes, ultimately the corporates are getting impacted from them. The stakeholder pressure is also there. Nowadays, most of the independent directors, though I am also independent director in some companies, though I won't name those companies, but whenever we sit, whenever we discuss, and if the company is listed entity, the independent directors are always or keenly focused on two, three things. First, there should not be any penalty, legal action against the company from the government side. Second, there should be control properly implemented there. And the third, that is ESG and sustainability. Nowadays, in the independent in the directors meeting, independent directors are focusing on that. So this is the pressure from stakeholders, even pressure from the financiers as well. I know some VC funds, they issue their funds, they release their funds, they invest in some startups only on certain conditions. And out of those conditions, one condition is there should be sustainability practices adopted by the startup. Now, this is a startup, very small startup. There is no need of mandatory BRSR reporting as per SEBI guidelines. But still, because the investor who has invested the amount in that particular startup, that is mandated to ensure the sustainability practices at the entity level in that startup. As a result of all these, we see the result in the terms of talent and we see the result in terms of financial impact. As I mentioned, that market valuation has been increased by 3 to 4% for the companies which have a robust ESG system, reporting system, compliance system. This is the data of CII. This is not my data. Data of Confederation of Indian Industries, CII. But this is fact. Even 3 or 4 months ago, I myself did a research, and in that research, what I did, I was mentioning the correlation between sustainability practices, ESG practices, and the financial performance of the company. I have selected 27 top companies in the banking sector, in the finance sector. It was limited to finance sector. 27 top banking and finance companies, and their CSR rating, their sustainability rating, their ESG rating, their effort. We have studied their annual reports, their commitments, their activities, their BRSR, and Ultimately, we found that the X bank is excellent or ranking at number one in all those parameters. At the same time, the financial performance increase or the jump in the financial performance of the X bank is higher than other. In that list also, X bank is at number one. There was direct correlation. There may be some exceptions, but there was direct correlation. If an entity is having good sustainability parameter, implementing good sustainability parameters, having good sustainability score, good CSR score, good ESG score, at the same time, in most of the cases, you will see their financial performance has also been increased. It is also helping in the talent acquisition and not only talent acquisition, talent retention also. If there is good working condition in the entity, I am taking care of my employees, their well-being, their health, their safety. I am taking care of the unity in the diversity at my entity level. Obviously, they will stay with me. If I am not taking care of my employees, I am not implementing good governance at my organization level, ultimately they will leave us. So talent retention is also a result of this. These are certain non-financial parameters, non-financial factors, which also we would like to discuss in a very brief manner. First, stakeholders engagement. Yes, stakeholders are engaged in sustainability part. Second one is setting goals and commitment. Set the tone at the top. The board of directors, board of management, or KMPs, they set certain targets. Then they establish the systems and process. That means internal control systems, just like RCMs and process flow and all these things. And then thereafter, monitoring process and communicating performance. That means once the process has been developed and implemented, the monitoring of those processes and their reporting, their communication within the organization. Then aligning those with the ESG reporting framework, like aligning with BRSR, aligning with others. And then the reporting report. That means the government report. That means the official reports. Yeah, one question. What initiatives and allocation for sustainable development and sectors to invest for long term? Okay. What initiatives and allocation for sustainable development? Okay. Initiatives and allocation from the government side, I think they are asking. And second thing is the sectors to invest for long term. It may be from the individual perspective. Coming on the individual perspective, if I'm not wrong, my understanding is that if somebody is asking about the investing for the long-term sector, long-term investment purpose, then that may be the for the individual level. And if somebody is asking for the initiatives and allocations for sustainable development, that may be from the government's part. Okay. For individual part, let me answer. This question has been received in the chat box. For the individual part, if you would like to invest, you may invest in the renewable energy. Why? Why? In India, when we are in, okay, that is the another question. First, let me answer the first question. First thing is the renewable energy. That means is because the scope has been increasing day by day. In the near future, you will see, like our government is saying that we have to achieve the target of net zero. We have to achieve the target of reduction in the carbon emission. We have to achieve the target of sourcing 450 gigawatt energy from the renewable sources. So such targets, when it will be achieved, ultimately the energy will be sourced or the we can say installations of such resources will be done for the renewable energies. Then only we will be able to achieve the target. So renewable energy is one sector. Another thing, waste management. That is also a great sector. Waste management is a great sector. You can invest for the long term and ultimately just you have to check out the financial performance of the entity in the past and their governance and all these things. That are the different things. But I'm just talking about the sectors. The first one is renewable energy. Second one, that is waste management. Third one, the sector related to the transport, but they are not using the fossil fuel. Like EV, you can explore like EV charging stations. You can explore like EV charging through the solar plants. You can explore. You can explore for those. That is also a segment which may be very much which may come with the flying colors. Which may come with good results in the near future. Another question that was in the same question, another part, the first part of the question that was initiatives and allocation for the sustainable development. Yes, government has taken certain initiatives, certain we can say they also allocated some amount. They have allocated some budget also. In the current budget, they mentioned about some amount, some budget for the water conservation. They have also mentioned some amount, some budget for the energy resources. One more question, back-to-back questions, very good. So the government, even when you go through with it, interim budget of 2024, in the interim budget of 2024, which was announced in February 2024, certain or the huge commitments, huge amount, those were announced. Those were announced in that budget. The amount was allocated in that budget for the renewable sources, for water conservation, for the waste management, for the recycling, for all these things. And mainly, more particularly, if I talk, that is the energy sector, where the government has shown their very high or very keen interest and huge amount that they have committed to invest. Um, in India, when we are expecting IFRS on sustainability to be mandatory, this decision is to be taken by government. It may be my personal view that very soon we will see this, but at official level, one cannot commit unless this has been mandated. But obviously, yes, my personal view is that very soon means in 2 to 3 years only, not long term, in 2 to 3 years only, it will be implemented in a very proper manner. Another question is, are there any ongoing plans or discussions to improve due diligence practices across the value chains of companies in relation to sustainability reporting and implementation? One example which I have already given, that RBI has come out with such a reporting framework for banking and NBFCs. At the same time, we have also discussed about sustainable sourcing. I have read somewhere about sustainable sourcing. I have gone through with some research about sustainable sourcing. Even one-to-one level meetings has been done, or some good discussion has been done, made with senior government officials, bureaucrats, and even some leaders, elected leaders in our country. And I was also part of those discussions. So based on that only, I have highlighted about the intelligent sourcing, best sourcing, good sourcing, responsible sourcing. So yes, obviously working is under process. Obviously, there are ongoing plans for a sustainable supply chain management, or we can say good sourcing practices, intelligent sourcing practices. And soon it will be part of rules and regulation as well. How is the evolution of technology relevant to the topic? Yes. Nowadays, whenever we talk about technology, everybody thinks technology is relevant everywhere. Yes or no? Right. Sir, I am using net banking. Is it technology driven? Obviously, yes. As a result of net banking, I don't need to visit my bank branch. First thing. So I am saving my fuel. Yes. I am reducing the pollution. Yes. Second thing. I am getting e-statement. That means I am not visiting my bank to get my passbook, to get the entries printed in my passbook. At one click, in my mobile banking, in my internet banking, I have access to my all the banking transactions. I have access to my balance, my pending transactions, my I can say my budgeting planning. Everything is on a screen. That means I am saving the paper as well. Ultimately, that is resulting into saving the trees. One example. Okay, taking the another example. We are conducting this session in webinar mode. As of now, I am sitting in Gurugram. Immediate after conducting this session, I will leave for Jaipur. Shweta Goel ma'am and all the team members, they are sitting in Delhi office. Nishan ji sitting in Ghaziabad. Kashyap ji, I believe, sitting in somewhere else like Udaipur. So, and all the participants, they are sitting at their offices in the different corners of the world, from different countries, different cities, and at their own comfort level. At my comfort level, I am addressing at your comfort level. You are listening, you are understanding. Is there any carbon emission in this entire process? Directly, no carbon emission, no travel cost, no fossil fuel consumption, even in fact, no renewable energy consumption. Ultimately, I am charging my laptop or AC is running. That is the different thing. But in terms of travel, if let's suppose such program has been organized in a physical form, you have to travel for that particular place. 500 people will be there only. I will also need to travel. Shweta ma'am will also travel. Anuj sir, he joined us today from Sitamarhi, UP. So he also need to immediately catch the flight and come to join us in that program. And then we are supposed to distribute some kits. We are supposed to distribute water bottles, plastic water bottles to everybody. Then there will be some waste also. So everywhere, the rational use of technology is also contributing to the ESG. So the question asked by one of our very worthy member, learned member, how is the evolution of technology is relevant to the topic? Yes, this is relevant. Another example. These were basic examples. Another example from the startup point of view. Boss, I am working on a startup. I mentor in that startup. Those young those people are working on a app-based tool. In at my home, my son, let's suppose my son qualified class second in this year. Now is jumped into class third. So the books of class second are not useful for me. What I will do? I will sell in the scrape to the kabadi wala at a rate of 6 rupees kg, 7 rupees kg, or 10 rupees kg. But if I have an application in my mobile, and in that application I will just upload the detail. These books, I will click the photo and I will upload it. Those people who are working on this startup, they will just get the notification, and their team in that city, in different cities, their teams will be there. Their team will collect that one. Their team will collect those books, and they will reuse at the second-hand book. They will sell those at the second-hand books, or they will offer these books to the NGOs. Even not only books, there may be some scrap. My old phone, old mixer, which is not working in my at my old charger, any kind of waste, anything, any kind of waste, which I would like to sell. I just need to post on that application. The concerned person will contact you, reach at your location. They will offer you the amount higher than the kabadi wala is offering to you, and they will collect it and segregate it, and they will ensure the proper reuse process, either or the proper recycling process for that. So technology is really helping us in the ESG sectors as well. Some more questions. What the difference between carbon emission and carbon footprint? Very good. What do you mean by carbon emission? What do you mean by carbon emission? What do you think? Anybody in your mind? Sir, I am running my car. Obviously, it is resulting into carbon emission. That is clear. What do you mean by carbon footprint? There are certain parameters, there are certain benchmarking, there are certain marking. That is carbon footprint. That is the we can say the benchmarking of carbon emission is the part of carbon footprint. In industries, not only not in the cars, in industries, there are certain regulations towards the carbon footprint. Like there is a manufacturing industry, they are emitting use carbon because of manufacturing process. So government has laid down certain procedures, certain regulations for them. They have to purchase some carbon credits. Now you should ask about carbon credit also. I am allowed for certain carbon credits or carbon emission, but my carbon emission target, which I have achieved, that is lower than the target which was approved by the government. Then I will get the credit. I can trade it, openly trade it, officially, legally I can trade it. So once you will deep dive into carbon emission, carbon footprint, carbon credit trading, and all these things, it need a different session, entire altogether a complete session for this. But yes, these are interlinked terms, and everybody must have basic knowledge about all these. Another question is RBI framework is a draft notification and not implemented. Yes, that is draft notification. Even that will be implemented, and companies will report very soon. As much as I am very much sure that the NBFCs will report for the financial year ending as at 31st March 2025. However, it will be implemented in the phased manner. It has been also mentioned it will be implemented in the phased manner. All the reporting compliance will not be implemented within the first year itself. It will be implemented in the phased manner. But yes, from the financial year ending as the 31st March 2025, NBFCs will start to report on that. Just Google it and check it. Green finance is announced in the budget. Yes, green finance is allowed. Green climate finance taxonomy has been announced in this budget. Some certain amount has been also allocated for green finance. But my question, what is green finance? What is climate finance? Again, we need a separate session for this. These are the basic terminologies which we everybody must understand. Some investors, they focus on climate finance, they focus on green finance, they focus on climate commitment, they focus on all these things. One more question. This is good question, very lengthy. Waste from sustainable energy sources are on the rise, right, sir? Disposal of batteries is becoming a big challenge. Absolutely right. Similarly, the disposal of PV cells in a sustainable manner is unheard of. Yes. Are we not substituting our existing waste with the more dangerous waste? Your thoughts, please. Yes. Recently, I was in a discussion in a big platform under the Environment Ministry, and everybody was very much excited that EVs will be game changer. I raised one question at that point, and this is more or less similar to this question. I asked, yes, obviously, by using EV, I will not use diesel or petrol. That's good. My carbon emission is reduced. That's good. But the battery of my car is to be charged. Yes, so obviously it is to be charged. From the which sources the energy I am sourcing to charge the batteries of my EV? Sir, that is from thermal power plant, that is from nuclear power plant, that is from other fossil fuel sources. That means I am just shifting the energy, shifting the ultimate use of energy source from petrol to battery, and ultimately again it is coming on the fossil fuel. So there is no good gain in that. What is the solution? What we should do? The sources of the energy to charge the batteries of EVs, it should be from the renewable energy. It may be from hydro energy, it may be from solar energy, it may be from wind power. That means the sourcing of the energy should be from renewable. Then first purpose will be solved. That means we have reduced the consumption of energy in form of diesel and petrol. Second thing, which sir or ma'am, whoever has sent this question has very rightly mentioned, wastage. Again, we are just shifting the wastage from here to there. Yes, sir. Obviously, lead batteries are and lithium batteries are harmful in certain manner, though the plastic is also there, and the plastic is very much harmful for the our environment, for Mother Earth. Some alternative of all these things are still in the process. As of now, the first major focus is on on the shifting of the energy sources. Then the second focus, in the second phase, it will be focused about the waste management also. Because in every 3 to 4 years, if I need to change the batteries, again I am just I can say just collecting the garbage in terms of batteries of my EV in every 3 to 4 years. So yes, your concern is right. I also agree at you. As of now, there is no serious action has been taken by any government in this matter. But yes, they are thinking of it. But their first target is to shifting the energy sources and from fossil fuel to renewable energy. That will be the second part when shifting or reduction in the wastage. However, some research are going on for the alternate use of plastic, alternate use of lithium, alternate use of lead batteries. some discussions are going on, some research are going on, some scientists are working on that. But at a government level part, nothing has been done in form of regulatory compliance, in form of a decision as of now. I really agree with you. Another question is carbon footprint measures is carbon emission under scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Sir, you are asking or you are telling? Please elaborate. One more question, linking with budget and opportunities in areas. Okay, I will cover the opportunities and I will link with the budget. Basically, this topic is very lengthy, so even it may take you 2 4 hours if you will cover everything. I agree. One thing, ESG readiness framework in startup companies, though it is not mandatory for such small entities. Yes, this is not mandatory. I have one slide for that. For ESG readiness framework, I have one slide at the end. I will share that also. So quickly, let me proceed further. Okay, first, let me jump onto the slide of ESG opportunities. Okay, I just skipped few slides in between and jumping on this slide. Professional opportunities in ESGs. Our members are more interested in this. Obviously, you must be. The first thing is sustainability consulting. First, though the mandatory compliance is on very limited companies, but there are 1,000 companies in terms of market valuation. Those are required to submit their BRSR. Okay, fine. But the subsidiary of these companies, they are also preparing their BRSR. Again, some companies, certain companies, which are falling under this category, they are asking such report from their vendors as well. Boss, I need report from you, from their customers as well, from their other related parties as well. That means the scope of BRSR reporting is not limited to top 1,000 companies. Ultimately, it is more than 5,000 companies, 5,000 entities are working on this sector officially as a part of independent directors' pressure, as a part of their own choice. There are some more companies there, but officially more than 5,000 entities are reporting their BRSR, ESG reporting, just part of either part of their consolidated report of their holding company or part of a demand or the requirement to be a continuous vendor of a big group or to be part of a continuous customer of a big group. Many of the OEMs are asked to submit their BRSR, even though those are not falling under the mandatory purview as prescribed by SEBI. But those were asked to submit their BRSR report, OEMs were also. So in the consulting sector, being a chartered accountant, was you can be a good consultant. Now some people say that the environmental engineer or chartered accountant, who will be better for ESG consultant? Tell me, who can be better for the ESG consultant? Sir, ESG includes environmental, social, and governance, all these 3 factors. It is not limited to environmental only. Got it? And when we talk about social and CSR, we chartered accountants are very well versed with that. When we talk about governance part, we chartered accountants are very well versed with the process, policies, the control, the governance, all these things. That means after having a requisite knowledge of environmental compliances, we may become an expert of ESG matters. Our institute, our SRSP, they offer an opportunity to all of us in the form of a certification course in BRSR. I feel fortunate enough myself that I was part of the first batch of BRSR. So business responsibility and sustainability reporting. Particular course is designed by our SRSB. Let's suppose you are not doing course. The reading material for that course is also available on the website of the SRSB. There are certain presentations are available on the website of SRSB. Just visit, read out, download, and read out thoroughly. Get the insight, get the basic idea about that, and then join such programs. Then join BRSR course. Then join some conferences, the full day conferences, 2 days conferences, national conferences organized by SRSB. They are putting their efforts in a very beautiful manner. So there are huge options for you to learn about this. So first opportunity is all about sustainability consulting. Another thing is managing the CSR program. Yes, social CSR is part of S of ESG. So you may become the CSR consultant. Being a CSR consultant, what you can do, sir? First thing, you can formulate the CSR policy. Second thing, you can advise them and guide them towards the regulatory compliances for CSR. Okay. Third thing, you can advise them, you can guide them to implement the CSR activities. And fourth thing, you can certify the impact, you can certify the implementation, and you can certify the utilization of the funds under the CSR. So that means we have a number of opportunities under CSR as well. Policy development, policy related to CSR, policy related to control, policies related to ESG, policies related to processes, policies related to whistleblower, gender equality, sexual harassment, policy related to non-bribe, anti-bribery policies, many more things. So we can contribute in the policy development as well. Then the next one is thought leadership by publishing reports, white papers, articles on ESG trends. Our institute is very much keen. Even if you are interested, if you have interest in authoring, please reach out to SRSB. I am a regular reader of SRSB. Every year they come out certain publications. SRMM, they have published. Sustainability standards, they are publishing. Every year, even I must say, in a time span of every 2 to 3 months, they come out with some good publications. So you may join hands with the SRSB. You may be author with SRSB. You may contribute for those publications. Another thing is where we can get an opportunity, that is adding investment fund to analyze ESG risks and opportunities for investment portfolios. Yes. Sir, I am an investor. Let's suppose, though I am not an investor, I am an investor and I am investing X amount, let's say 10 CR in a startup. And I ask, boss, sustainability practices must be followed. That is fact. In our organization also, I am very much keen about sustainability practices. Even at my home also, I am very much keen about sustainability practices. So what I need is a startup where I have invested in the capacity of an investor, and I mandated that startup that the sustainability practices are to be followed by them. So at the end of the year, I need a report on sustainability. I need a report on a utilization of the funds in the sustainable manner. That can be provided by a chartered accountant. Another thing, that is the one part in this opportunity. Another part in this under this opportunity, that is I would like to invest my amount in a startup in ESG areas. I need a consultant, and you are a chartered accountant. You are expertise in this. You may be my consultant. I will pay you. So that means you have opportunities there also. ESG audit, BRSR filing, and all these things. That is also part of that. Then ESG training. Yes, you may be part of those training. You may be trainer at ICI. You may be faculty of BRSR course. You may be faculty at other platforms as well. Even you may be trainer of in-house trainings in various entities, various companies. Now specialize in ESG related legal issues. Yes. If there is some mandatory compliances, if an entity is not fulfilling those compliances, making some defaults, so in that case, what will happen? Obviously, there will be certain legal provisions, there will be some penalties. So companies, the entities will have some expert consultants, just like you are a GST consultant, just like you are income tax consultant. You appear before the authorities in the GST, in the income tax, in the company law matters, in the NCLT matters, and other platforms. Similarly, you can appear before the authorities in the ESG related matters. You can draft replies in the ESG related matters. You can advise them in the ESG related matters. So that is also an opportunity for you. Again, we have received a few questions. Okay. Let us take one by one. Hello, sir. Could you please share your thoughts about artificial intelligence from ESG point of view? Is the government planning any governance or control on AI? Because AI is a very good opportunity, but it can also come with several risks. Yes, sir, agree. Such as loss of employment, huge emission, energy requirement for data centers, etc. which may in turn impact ESG factors negatively. So in your question, there are three parts. The first part is use of AI in ESG. Second part is government regulatory landscape regarding AI, and third part is the impact of a negative impact of AI on ESG. Right. Let us come on the first part: positive use of AI in the ESG. Sir, if I have implemented some parameters, or even I have implemented some technique in my toilets, bio toilets, at my taps, some technology has been implemented. If I have implemented some technology in my room, if somebody will be sitting in the room, I will be moving, lights will be on, AC will be working. But once I will leave the room, even if I forget to switch off the light, switch off the air conditioner, the sensor working there in within 5 to 10 seconds that will assess, and automatically it will switch off the lights and air conditioner. That is part of use of technology, and technology in terms of AI. Like we use Siri, we use IoTs, Internet of Things. There are many more things, many more examples, and number of examples where AI can help in achieving the ESG target. AI can help positively in environmental safety, in sustainability, in governance part as well. Let us talk about the governance part. Let us talk about the under the governance part. Let us talk about the stock part, inventory part. There is an entity where usually at every year we see that due to having huge inventory amount at the end of the year, we are unable to count each and every piece of inventory. So that is why we are not conducting physical verification, and we are just giving our report. It may be disclaimer, it may be disqualified, it may be qualified report as well. We may include those points as a matter of emphasis paragraph. Now AI, a barcode has been pasted at every bin or every trolley where the inventory is kept, and there is one robot. The robot is running at a fast speed and just scanning those barcodes and just getting the entire data. And I am being an auditor, I am sitting in my office just looking at the process followed by the robot to the CCTV camera. And after in a few hours or within a day, the robot is able to complete the process of physical verification of the inventory. Not only in terms of inventory, in terms of fixed assets also, barcode scanning. So the technology used, that is also helping us in the governance, also helping us the reducing the manpower. Yes, at the same time, let us coming on the third part of your question. That means there are negative impact of AI also. Like there will be reduction in the manpower. I have the chances of uh, losing my job. There may be chances of retrenchment over there. But technology may do certain work with a speed, but ultimately we need brains to develop the technology, to monitor the technology, and to operate the technology, to analyze the results of the technology are proper or not, and to modify the technology, alter the technology. Ultimately, humans are required. Yes, different skill set is required. Obviously, everything has pros and cons. If we are using AI, we have a number of positive impact, but we have negative impact as well. Recently, in elections, we have seen. Though I would like to don't want to quote that particular example in detail over here because it is recorded session and it is the official session. But being a part of the control room of a big party, I have seen the elections very closely. I was a part of the control room for a few seats, crucial seats. So in the entire process, AI was used in a very good manner. How? Let's suppose I am the election candidate. My clone has been developed using the AI. I am in the field, but a video message is sent to all the voters using my AI clone, and I am asking you Shweta ma'am, how are you? I'm contesting this election. I need your support. At the same time, the same video is reaching at the mobile of Nishant sir, and the script is Nishant ji, how are you? Everything is good in Ghaziabad. What is your update about my election? How you are going to help me out? At the same time, another video is going to Kashyap ji. Kashyap ji, how are you? Everything is good. So everybody is pulling that is personalized video, personalized campaigning. But ultimately, the candidate was working in the field. It was the result of AI which we have used. Positive part, time saving, connection, good result. But at a negative result, somebody, some opponent has made a wrong video of a candidate, and that was also circulated. Though we have filed FIR and all these things were done, but a wrong and manipulated video was circulated by some opponent using the AI. So ultimately, it changed the entire election just one day before the election. So negative impact is always there. The middle part of your question, whether the government is taking some regulatory decisions. Yes, sir. Already they have taken serious decisions. They have come out with some data protection regulations. They have come out with a fair use of AI policies regulations, many more things. And very soon, some more regulation will also be there with us. Fine. Let's check another questions. We have four more questions. Uh, Hydrogen is coming as a green renewable. It's a great game changer. Yes, sir. I agree. Like even in the cars as well, hydrogen is going to be used as a fuel. That is carbon free. There is no harm to the ozone layer, no pollution, no harm to the climate, no result to no harm, or I can say no contribution to the global warming if we are using the hydrogen. That's right, sir. It may be a great game changer, but it may be, I'm not saying it will be, because we need great focus, we need commitment, we need regulatory landscape, then only it will be game changer. There is a great focus on the use of solar energy, yes, even in Rajasthan and Gujarat and in southern India as well. Some districts has been focused as a solar district. So even I visited in Jaisalmer and Jodhpur district in Rajasthan. Some areas in Jodhpur and Jaisalmer district, even in Badmer district, in Bikaner district in Rajasthan. These are the western Rajasthan part near to the Pakistan border. So villages, the entire village is just looking like a solar village. Solar plates have been installed. The power of the station of Tata Power, Adani Power, some other solar power stations. The people they have invested huge amount for the solar. They have installed their solar plates. They have installed their entire setup. They are generating energy, electricity from using the solar sources, and the same energy has been directly transferred to Power Grid Corporation. And then thereafter, they are distributing to the other electricity distribution agencies. It may be ABVNL, JBVNL, SCB, or DSBVNL, anything it may be. The different areas. Then next thing you have mentioned, even government is providing subsidies to encourage the solar power, but there is a very less talk or awareness about recycling of solar panels. Yes, sir. Should we not also focus on this issue? Similar to the batteries which are bought back by the battery supplier, they should be processed. Once the life of the solar panel is over, awareness among the common people. So two things. One is EPR, extended producer responsibility. Yes, it is there. If I am a manufacturer of solar plates, it is my duty that a certain percentage of the solar plates I have sold, these are to be bought back by myself and should be discarded, should be recycled or reused in a manner which is not harmful to the environment. Yes, regulation is there, but generally this is less talk because let's suppose right now, today I am getting solar panel installed at my home. The life of the panel is 20 to 25 years. So I will think about returning back these solar plates, discarding these solar plates after 20 years. That is why, as on date, the people are more interested in installing the solar plates. They are not discussing about their proper discardation or proper reuse or proper recycling. But yes, it is concerned. EPR is there. some awareness will be spread among the people, then the results will be really very much beautiful. Another question, we are talking about sustainability very seriously, but at all levels, all levels, segment of the society, hygiene and cleanliness of city, proper disposal of waste and recycling of waste should be given the top priority, or at least should work parallel to our effort for the climate change. Sir, think before Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, 2nd October 2nd October 2014. Think before that. What happened to me? I am driving my car. I just purchased a fruity. This is hypothetical example. I never did these things earlier also. Hypothetical example. Let's suppose I am driving my car. I just purchased the fruity. I enjoy the fruity, running my car, and I thrown the can of the fruity on the road. But as on date, I don't do this thing. I try to find out the dustbin. Even if I am running my car and I just enjoy bananas or any other fruit, I keep those wastage or keep those cans or such boxes or the fruity or anything can be their wastage, their empty boxes, their cans, their packed in within my car. And once I reach at a place, once I stop my car, I search the dustbin and then I dispose that. Before 2014, before the launch of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, such practices were very less. Now awareness is there. Obviously, result is there. Visit Chandigarh, visit Indore, visit Jaipur. The improvement is visible, directly visible. But obviously, ultimately, unless and until we as an individual will not show our commitment towards such initiatives, the ultimate final result cannot be achieved. It is our collective duty. Government has already done a lot of things. Though there may be certain areas where the municipal corporation or municipal council or municipality they are not working properly in terms of cleanliness, in terms of sanitation. There may be certain cases, even in Gurgaon also. But wherever wherever and whatever government is doing, ultimately it's our parallel responsibility that we should contribute. Your concern is very much uh, relevant and really it is part of a very serious concern, but we have to contribute in this. We can't shift this burden on the government shoulder. Yes, awareness campaigns are there. When we talk about environmental part in ESG, sanitation is part of that. Disposal of waste is part of that. When we talk about a G, governance part of ESG, yes, good environment, working environment is part of governance. So that means cleanliness at the working environment, working place, it is also part of ESG. These all are part of ESG, but we should focus more. I agree, but it's our responsibility, sir. We cannot shift the burden on the government. Another case is BRSR extended to value chain encompassing the large customer and vendor base beyond the company. Yes, sir. I already mentioned that means BRSR is not only limited to top 1,000 companies in terms of market valuation as per the guidelines by SEBI. I know, I worked for many companies where the entity, where the big corporate house, they request or even they ask BRSR, draft BRSR from their vendors and customers as well. So it has been extended. It is creating really, it is creating a value chain. It is creating some values. Ultimately, more than 5,000 companies across the country, they have prepared their BRSR. May be part of mandatory or may not be part of mandatory compliance. But more than 5,000 companies, they prepared their BRSR and soon the number will cross 10,000. Very soon the number will cross 10,000 within 2 years. So you have huge opportunity, professional opportunity also there. Another thing is CAs will work with all the aspects of both financial and non-financial areas and well positioned compared to the environmentalists. Yes, I agree, sir. That is why I have given you an example that you are very well versed with the CSR compliance, social compliance, well versed with the control part, well versed with the BRSR, well versed with the, some other regulations. Just little bit knowledge about environmental part, little knowledge about SDGs, knowledge about NGRBC, National Guideline on Responsible Business Conduct. There are 9 principles of NGRBC. Little knowledge about detailed knowledge about SDG 17 goals of for sustainable development prescribed by United Nations. So after having these basic knowledge about all these things, you will be better than any environmentalist. Chartered accountant can become better consultant. I agree, sir. I appreciate your commitment. And another one mentioned impact assessment and social impact assessment are the new opportunity. Yes, sir. Whenever you see big projects, big infra project, let's suppose there is infra project of dam development of a dam, development of highway. It is mandatory to submit EIA, environmental impact assessment report. It is mandatory. So we are not aware about that because we are chartered accountant and that is non-financial activity. But this is mandatory and it is mandatory for a long period. Even 20 years ago, if any project for highway has been sanctioned, big project has been sanctioned, the EIA has been submitted to the authorities. So EIA is mandatory. Now we are talking about SIA, social impact assessment also. That is good concern. Social audit is a different concept. That is also talk of the town nowadays. But now talking about social impact assessment. Yes, I believe SRSB can even prepare some white paper on this and we can recommend to NCA also. Though indirectly social impact is also assessed as a part of EIA. Let's suppose we are developing a road project. So there are some people who are whose houses are whose residences are falling under the uh, that particular project area. So we have to ensure the proper rehabilitation, resettlement of those people. That is social impact. As on date, that is part of EIA. Certainly, that is part of EIA or impact assessment report. But a separate SIA for other project also, other regulatory compliance also. It can also be properly designed. That's good idea. Even I would love to do research in this, and I would love to contribute in any way, in any manner to the SRSB to develop some white paper on SIE also. Any other question, or should we move on the next slide? Just let me check if any question is left. I think covered. If any question is unanswered, please resend to me. Okay. Just keeping. These are the key challenges, but basically these are not the key challenges. There was a question by a member that strategy to implement ESG at the entity level, even in the startups. So sir, these are some questions which I should ask myself, being a promoter of a startup, or you being an auditor of any small size company or startup. You should ask these questions in a meeting with your client, meeting with the KMPs of your client. I will share this presentation with the SRSB so you can keep ready these questions. Where do I start my ESG program? This is the first question. BRSR is not mandatory on me. BRSR is not mandatory on me. But where do I start my ESG program? Same thing, same question. We ask at the time of RCM, we ask at the time of ICOFR, IFC, Internal Financial Control. Where do I should start the financial control process? Sir, set the tone at the top. Tone at the top. That is the first thing. And then thereafter, different policies, different parts, actions, those should be part of this. Another question, how do I incorporate ESG risk into my existing risk management framework? Existing risk management framework is that means your RCM, risk control metric, your RCM. And under your RCM, we discuss about P2P, procure to pay, order to cash, treasury management, your PP part, your treasury part, your financial statement closing procedure part, we discuss about your ELC, PLC, ITCC also, entity level control, policy level controls, PLC, and then IT general control. Sir, at the same time, you can develop one more process flow. That is ESG flow. We did at several clients. If you need any help, you can reach out in personal and professional in both the capacities. I will be very much happy to help you out. Sir, you can implement, you can design such process flow over there. And once you design the process flow, then come out the implementation strategy. What are the risks are there? What are the controls implemented by them? That means second part of RCM, risk control metric. You can design RCM. And based on that, do the TOD, testing of design, effectiveness. So once you will do the TOD at the end, you will be able to report, you will be able to comment on ESG compliance also. The third one is, what are the emerging ESG standards and frameworks? Sir, basically, you must have knowledge about GRI, 9 principles of NGRBC, TCFT. You must have knowledge about sustainability standards. You must have knowledge about SRMM. There are many such things, and everything is available. Every relevant thing is available with SRSB. One-stop solution is SRSB. Now, the another one is, how do I actively engage with multiple ESG rating agencies and continuously monitor my ESG rating performance? Sir, there are certain ESG rating agencies, government approved agencies, just like CIBIL score provided for your own loan repayment capacity in simple terms. So there are certain agencies which provide ESG rating also. In a similar manner, you can connect them, you can report them, what you are doing, and you can resolve the controversy. Just like in CIBIL, if we see that our CIBIL score has been declined, even though I didn't have made any default, so I do write to the company, I do request them to revise, or I do request them to rectify my CIBIL score. Similarly, you can do same process you can follow. What are the emerging board matters, leading practices, and key governance indicators that I need to disclose to my stakeholders? This question is from the perspective of promoter, not from the perspective of the auditor or a chartered accountant or a consultant. From the board member, from the promoter. Basically, divide it into three parts. On the environmental front, climate change, I didn't harm. Pollution, sir, I didn't harm. Carbon emission, I didn't do this thing. Right? Social part, sir, whatever you are doing in CSR, whatever you are doing in the form of inclusion of diversity at your company. And governance part, your policies, good working environment, good grievance settlement policy, taking the care of all other stakeholders. Taking care of stakeholders is part of social and governance, both the parts, depending upon the nature of the stakeholder and depending upon the nature of the activity which is being undertaken by the entity. Right. So you can just divide in three parts and just identify the key factors or KPIs, key indicators at your entity. These will be different and from entity to entity. In ICI, there may be different KPIs. In Infosys, there may be different KPIs. In my company, there may be different KPIs. In your company, there may be different KPIs. So different KPIs, but under three parts, E, S, and G, you can do. How do I redesign my business and supply chain process to embed it to the sustained development? You need to take help of experts, but yes, first conduct a meeting of the concerned department, process owner, understand the entire process, and discuss with them that within this process, what kind of environmental safeguarding measurements we can take, what kind of other sustainability related measurements we can implement in this in the existing processes. Then for the advanced version, you have to engage some experts. How do I get assurance that my sustainability initiatives deliver the intended outcomes? The assessment is to be done by the independent expert. Then only you will be able to get the assessment about the real outcome. How do I integrate sustainability risk considerations into my supply chain process? Same thing, same thing. Sit with your process owners, understand the process, and what are the risks over there, what kind of controls you can implement in terms of sustainability. Then how do I build trust into my sustainability disclosure through an effective internal control framework? This is an important but lengthy exercise, relevant but hefty exercise. And a chartered accountant who has good control, good command our IFCs, and also have command our sustainability, he will be the consultant for this, and he will get a huge amount as a fee and he can contribute in a very excellent manner in this matter. I request all the participants, all the chartered accountants, please focus more on this opportunity. If you have interest, if you have expertise in internal control, please focus on sustainability also. Usually, what we think, because I worked for internal control for almost 10 years, it was also in my mind as well. Internal control is a different thing. This is part of financial control. And whereas sustainability is a different thing. No, if you are expert of internal control and sustainability, you have great opportunity for you. You have great opportunity. So, and the next thing is, what should be the data architecture to meet ESG reporting requirements? Sir, it is different from company to company, entity to entity. And first, you have to understand the RCM of the entity. You have to understand the organization chart of the entity. You have to understand the compliance chart of the entity. And after taking the understanding of all these, simultaneously after taking the understanding of the processes which are being followed at the entity level, then only you can design this. What technologies can I use to manage risk control compliance? Same technologies which you are using for the financial control. How do I stay on the top of the changes in ESG regulation and how I am able to demonstrate compliance with all the applicable regulatory obligations? First thing, you must have the checklist about the compliances. Second thing, you must have the action plan for each part which is part of the checklist. Second thing, you must have the understanding of the detailed process of every action plan. For every action plan, so after getting the understanding, after having checklist, then action plan, then understanding of the processes. Based on that, you can design and develop such a great framework at your entity level that may demonstrate your commitment, your contribution, your dedication towards ESG. So it can be done. Though we skipped some slides, but we have taken some questions, and I'm really glad that I tried to answer most of the questions. Even I also learned 2 3 things from you people, and it's the time to sum up the session. So I request everybody, if you have some more questions, please write in the chat box. SRSB is very much active to sharing your questions with me, and I hand over the dais, I hand over the virtual dais and mic to SRSB team, and it's open for questions. Though we have covered, I think, more than 20 questions, but again, it's open for the questions. Nishant ji, Kashyap ji, and SRSB team, they can lead the show.
Thank you, dear sir, for the wonderful session. We extend our sincere gratitude to the speaker for the insightful presentation on Union Budget 24-25, commitment towards sustainable development. Your comprehensive analysis of the budget provision related to sustainability has provided invaluable insights into the government's vision for a greener and more resilient India. Your expertise in navigating the complex interplay of physical policy and environmental stewardship has been truly enlightening. We greatly appreciate your contribution to enhancing our understanding of the budget's implication for the business and the broader ecosystem. Now I would like to ask Nishant Agarwalji to present vote of thanks. Nishant sir, over to you.
I extend my heartful gratitude to each one of you for making our webinar on Union Budget 24-25 commitment towards sustainable development a resounding success. First and foremost, a sincere thank you to our esteemed speaker, CA Dr. Dheeraj Sharma ji, for sharing their profound insights and expert analysis on the Union Budget implications for sustainable development. Your expertise has illuminated the path forward for integrating sustainability into economic policy. I also want to express my appreciation to all the attendees who have actively engaged in putting through provoking questions and contributed valuable perspectives. Your participation enriched our dialogue and fostered a deeper understanding of the budget's impact on environmental and social sustainability. A special acknowledgement goes to our dedicated organizing team and support staff whose meticulous planning and tireless effort ensured the seamless execution of this webinar. Your commitment behind the scenes has been instrumental in delivering a high quality event. Furthermore, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Vice Chairman, CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, for their visionary leadership and unwavering support in conceptualizing and guiding this insightful webinar. So, as we conclude, let us carry us forward with the invaluable insight gains today. Together, let's continue to advocate for policies and practices that promote sustainable development, ensuring a better future for generations to come. Thank you all once again for your participation and commitment to sustainability. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nishant sir. Now for audience. To revisit today's discussion or catch up on previous sessions, we encourage you to visit the ICI TV channel of the Sustainability Reporting Standard Board. There, you will find a wealth of knowledge and insight from our past sessions. Stay informed and continue your journey towards sustainability excellence by exploring our content on ICI TV. Stay connected and take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Technical support.